Alrighty. Let's edit that title, shall we? Name changed. Okay. I was ill prepared. Stream quality excellent. I'm actually surprised to see that. Telus has not been kind to me. But yeah, Dan here, Max's PL videos, and you may notice my video quality is probably upped a bit. Yay, yay me. Now, how did I do that? A couple things. So, and almost nobody saw it. I did a video a while back on like cameras for musicians and stuff, and like from a musician point of view. And in that video, I mentioned that I have a Canon Rebel SL3, and the beauty of that one is it works with clean HDMI out. So I've got that running now to a capture card that I had laying around from my wife and I did some video streaming a while back. We wanted both of our computers on the same stream, and that worked brilliantly. So I have it ran into there, and it works. I'm quite happy with it. And then I was using, instead, for a while, Canon's EOS webcam utility, which is handy because you can just plug your camera in USB. But it has some limitations in terms of bitrate and color quality and what was the other weirdness on it? It can only do up to my original camera, which is why my last live stream, because I had no, it's at work. My old Canon T2i, which technically I don't even think is on their supported camera list. That thing can only go up to like 540p or something like that with big black bars on the side. This one can do 720p, but I can get a proper 1080, 30 frame a second via this capture card, so I'm going to. Now, annoyingly, it jumps to 4K. I can't do a 1440p clean HDMI output. I wish I could. That would be, I think, the good middle ground. Not that my internet connection could handle that. The other thing I did was I got myself some lights. Now, I got these ones. Do I have it handy? Switch back to me here. I've got a video I'm making on these. I'm really happy with these. For the vast majority of you out there, if you're thinking about doing some live streams or video work and things like that, and you don't have room for soft boxes, man, these are the BP25B from Newer, wherever the heck you pronounce it. I bought a set of those. They came in. I've been very happy with them. So here on their site, 25 watts per panel, 320 LEDs. And in Canada, these are like $100 with a 10% off thing that didn't exist when I bought them. In the US, they're like $80 or something like that. And it is hard to recommend anything less expensive than them. Because if I go over to sticking to Newer, they have these ones that are... they're down to $60 right now. They must be on sale. But these, even though they have the same form factor, I think almost the same amount of LEDs on them, because they can only pull 10 watts due to being USB powered, they put out less than a third of the light. Now, I wanted two things. One, reliability, and to me, plugged into the wall is more reliable than plugged into a USB port. And two, I wanted versatility, and yeah, just the extra brightness of being able to run these on off the wall. They are worth it. Yeah, I did not know the 300 had dropped that much though. At 60, so that's like 2/3 of the cost, but they're a third of the brightness. Depending on your setup, they might be perfect. Um, so that's a caveat there. But yeah, that's my new setup. Is basically running a capture card instead of a capture card instead of running just straight USB and then some nice lighting. You can put a softbox in. Just use a softbox. Like, trust me on that. Softboxes are cheap and great. I don't know if they have. This might not load. Newer has a whole bunch of options. Once you move up to the more expensive ones, they all become battery powered. That was the other reason I went with these, is because, well, I don't need barn doors. Barn doors, I don't know why they're including them on all of these. Everything I've read, they don't really help much when it comes to the LED panel, because you have so many light sources that they're kind of affecting. Well, let me hover over the picture. Man, these are loading actually pretty good. Good job, Noor. The LEDs like right around here get affected by this, but like the ones that are way on the other side, because they're sending it out fairly wide dispersion, they end up kind of defeating the purpose of this, because they'll spill over. But don't quote me on that, because I'm a sound guy. I'm not a lighting guy. Well, I'm not a video lighting guy. I'm a stage lighting guy, and that is a whole other world. But yeah, if you need yourself some well-priced, very bright, easy to use, it comes with a couple stands. They're terrible, but they get the job done. I guess it comes with a phone holder that I'll probably never use, although I'll have to see if they can mount, if that phone holder will mount on other size tubes. I may end up using them on other stuff. I also just got some tablet holders / phone holders from my local homeless shelter, of all things. Our overnight shelter in my town does like a sale once a week for like raising funds, and somebody donated like a crate of tablet holders, and they were selling for $10 Canadian each, and we opened them up and they all had $20 like these page turners that cost $15 to $20 normally on their own inside, that listed nowhere on the box. So we've got those, but then we also have the my brain, the tablet holders for when we need them, which is just super handy, for $10 each, and it was for a good cause. So gonna possibly incorporate that for an overhead camera, so if I'm ever doing like tearing something apart on my desk here, I'll have that, because I also do I haven't done it in a while, but as you can see from behind me, I do some stuff for paintball stuff. So yeah, now I should get to some of these other topics. Now, a lot of people in the DJ world are talking about this T10 that is coming from Hercules. There's no chance that this video is going to work on my terrible internet connection. Oh, it is. Man, tell us. Not too bad. Now, you shouldn't be able to hear it because I have my audio muted, but this is actually impressive. Now, Hercules has been kind of knocking it out of the park with some of this stuff. I've been really happy with the controllers they've been putting out recently, but they've mostly been focused on like entry level stuff. And this, I'm just gonna refresh this page. So that, this unit is looking to be pretty darn good. Now, it's looking to be really good for a few reasons. One is the 10-inch platters. I don't, like, that's not a big thing for me because I'm not a scratch guy, but a lot of people have been clamoring for, like, oh, like, I want a controller with 10-inch platters. You got one coming. Now, the only way to keep the size and cost down was they went belt driven, but I have not heard very many complaints about the belt drives on uh, the T7, which has the 7-inch platters that, again, people were really impressed with. I have a 500 from Hercules that I'm really happy with. I've got a video, it is premiering a minute ago, on my tractor T3 S3 tractor S3, that arguably is a better controller than something like the 500, but because its MIDI mode is garbage, it doesn't have line in or microphone in, so I ended up needing a separate mixer with it anyway, and it defeated the purpose of having it. But it still might use it. I don't know yet. I got it on a really good deal. So the tractor is probably staying, but I digress. So this doesn't have a ton of use for me. But for certain people out there, this might be perfect. Because the closest you could get to this before was either going high-end controller, something like the Rev 7 or Rain Performer, I think were the closest to kind of this. But now there's that. There is Rain just put out a new one. The Rain System 1. I haven't actually I forgot that I haven't talked about yet. I'm gonna have it load over in the corner because it's gonna take ages. The System 1 looks ideal for so many people. Oh man. But I think the T10 is going to possibly win this battle for the simple fact it's going to be way less expensive. And there are a lot of people who, somewhat rightfully so, are not sold on standalone yet. Now, the great thing about the System 1 is you don't have to use it standalone. It has the touchscreen and stuff in the middle, so you can use it standalone, but it works, from what I've heard, flawlessly switching back and forth between standalone and Serato. For back-to-back stuff of like DJing at clubs and things like that, oh man, you say you have a guest coming in to DJ after you, and they can wire their laptop in for running Serato while you're DJing off of the center panel. Like, oh man. But again, 7.2-inch motorized platters. Now, they're going to be higher torque and feel closer to a traditional. But like, this is the kind of thing that you need if you want a step up from what we're seeing from Hercules. But the big advantage Hercules has is, again, these 10 inches. And that it's going to be like a third, if not less than a third, of the price of something like the System 1. But it isn't standalone. System 1 you don't need a laptop with. They're still trying to figure out native stem support on these standalone things, but we're not there yet. So if you need stems, which is one of the reasons I actually moved to using an iPad with DJ Pro, if you need that, then a standalone isn't the option. You're going to want to plug this thing in, use Serato or DJ or, what's it called? Virtual DJ. Record box stems have some catching up to do. I think they thought they were going to be owning Serato, so they just didn't put the effort in yet. I could be wrong. Speaking of stems and not putting the effort in, Tractor, despite I've actually been liking what I've been seeing from Tractor lately, their new unit that they put out, the MX2 or whatever their latest 2-channel controller was, looked pretty good. Tractor 4 looked pretty good, other than they could have just put in standalone or instant stems and just have them not be great, and then have the option of doing the similar to how Virtual DJ has it, for you can split your stuff ahead of time. But from what I'd heard, they just didn't, and it was very. You had to split the songs ahead of time, and it was some of the best sounding stems, but you had to do everything, like do the legwork beforehand. And for people who use Tractor, that was honestly probably fine. They're not doing on the fly DJ sets in the way that somebody like myself does, where I'm getting tons of weird random requests and have to figure out how to fit them in. They're more of that club kind of and doing their own thing and like not taking requests and stuff, so they can really plan things out ahead of time. Just generally, I've heard nothing but good things about Tractor from people who like Tractor, but they're for sale. Basically, the company. A lot of people are speculating Tractor may get sold to another private equity firm, because I think they're currently owned by one through their partnership with Native Instruments was part of like the same group that like Isotope or something's in, and that thing got bought, and now it's getting sold again because they're dissolving the company. I don't know. I've heard it's not all doom and gloom, but there's a good chance it's doom and gloom. Like Tractor could be done, but it probably won't be. Somebody's probably going to buy it, pick the bones for a while, make any money they can off of it, and sell it again, which sucks for especially the people who work there. Like the small team that is still running Tractor, like not running Tractor, like home, like DJ use. I'm talking about like they're programmers. They've been putting their heart and soul into making that thing keep on ticking, and unfortunately, they're gonna probably get screwed over in that whole thing. But I digress. Now I need to see, what did I? Oh right, Peavey. Man, I didn't expect to talk about Peavey kind of ever again. They kind of died, but kind of, I mean, as close to full bankruptcy as you can kind of get. They moved to nothing but hand-built amps out of the States for a while, because I think just all their contracts and stuff dissolved. Like, don't quote me on that, but that's what it looked like from the outside. And now they're back. They're doing more and more PA equipment, which I think is very good. I know a lot of people know Peavey from like the 6505s and stuff. They've got down in the corner there, and like the Classic 30 and Classic 50, great sounding amps. Like though the classics are the ones I tend to gravitate towards, but I had some 6505s in the shop for a while. If you need gain, they've got gain. But Peavey, I grew up with them being a huge company in the amplifier space. The amp I got recently that's going to be running my stage monitors once I get it wired up with these. Unfortunately, it's like an install amp, so I've got to deal with these annoying connectors and get those wired into a faceplate, and I've just been distracted. I've got 8 other projects on the go. 2 of which are done, so I can move on to do stuff like this. But that one's made by Peavey still. Like, they're still making good quality amplifiers, just not under the Peavey name, which was a little odd. But I digress, which I'm going to a lot because I'm running on nothing but coffee and sheer force of will. They've put out some PA stuff, and for a while, like Peavey mixers, I wasn't the biggest fan of. I did like their amplifiers, but their mixers were always kind of at least at the level of mixer that I could afford. You could just usually get better for your money from Mackie or Allen and Heath, etc. Like, you spend a little more on an Allen and Heath, and you get much better quality components on some of the mixers. And then if you spend a little bit less on a Mackie, you're getting basically the same thing. Enter these Unities. Now, they are not for sale yet. These were just put out at NAMM. I am liking everything I'm seeing about these. We've got proper digital going on here, where it's not a lot of these companies have started doing, like, and I even own one, right? I've got the CAD that has like a little LCD screen on it and stuff, but that LCD screen is just there for the effects section and stuff. This is a lot more robust. I love to see DC power in. This is finally, hopefully gonna push. Like I almost ordered. I'm still tempted to, but I need to see what these come out to in Canada. I've been eyeballing the units from Behringer, the Behringer Flow, because that for like I'm hosting an open mic night every other week. I need a monitor and two mains, or monitor and one main, honestly. But my small form factor mixers don't have, like, they'll have monitor outs. Monitor outs are different than an aux out. So as long as, and I'll have to check at this size, as long as that aux out can be used properly for a, oh, my brain, it's just going to be that kind of day. As long as that aux out can be used for proper aux out to monitors and control stuff separately, this could be really cool. And I'm hoping, seeing this LCD screen and seeing just the integration on stuff that they have here, I need to do some more reading on what these can do. These could be a brilliant little form factor mixer for your average singer-songwriter, etc. XLR outs on the mains. Oh, thank you. Small form factor stuff oftentimes just goes for quarter inch. And it kind of sucks because in a recording studio situation, TRS is perfectly fine. Live use, XLR is where it's at because you can daisy chain them, and you can have two 30-foot cables become a 60-foot cable. TRS has just always been more annoying. So yeah, just happy to see that. But yeah, actually having some competition in this range, Behringer may finally put out a version of the Flow with USB-C. Yeah, I know it costs a couple extra bucks compared to putting in the micro USB or whatever the heck it is. The worst connection ever made. But yeah, these are a must, in my opinion. Anything going forward that isn't using a barrel jack, there is still a time and a place for those, right? I was just talking about my lights. That one of the reasons these work well is because they use a barrel jack, and you have to plug them into the wall, etc. And you just get, they're just better. There's something to be said about using a barrel jack for power versus like USB or USB-C. But if you're going to do USB, either do USB A, B, or C. This in-between garbage where we have the micro USB, like the mini USB or whatever it was actually fine. I have, I mentioned earlier, I think I've got a Canon T2i, by modern standards, a fairly ancient DSLR that has micro USB, and or mini USB, and I will take that over micro any day. Yeah, micro versus mini USB. Oop. Will this thing load? Oh, it was loading, and then yeah. These mini are so much better than what became micro, right? Because they're calling this micro. Oh no, that's micro. Yeah, mini B. What the heck is mini A? I've never even heard of that. But yeah, these micro things, these things broke. Oh, you can't see what I'm pointing at. Let me fix that. Open image, a new tab. Boo, 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 boo. Tell us. It's working on it. I did look into what's it called? TELUS fiber, and for this exact reason. But it would be yeah. Now it's trying to crash my stream by opening a image. Yeah, I looked into TELUS fiber, and it was expensive but worth it. Best way I can describe it. But yeah, it's still not something I'm gonna be doing. But yeah, the I don't know why we moved away from mini and moved to this micro nonsense. Mini just worked well. I don't know. Mini was great, and we moved to this micro thing that broke down all the time. And yeah, it didn't save us much space. There might have been some jump in terms of power delivery or data transfer, but it's garbage and it breaks down all the time. And for whatever reason, yeah, the Behringer Flow still uses it. So that's where this whole rant started. So good job, Peavey, for using USB-C. Yes, it costs a extra fee because it is that's how these standards work. It's the same reason why if you look at budget TVs, they'll have like 2 HDMI ports. It's because you have to pay for every HDMI port you have on it. Versus a lot of monitors will have a single HDMI. A lot of graphics cards will have a single HDMI because DisplayPort either is way cheaper or doesn't cost anything, and is a better medium. I don't know if DisplayPort does audio though. That might be the. I know it didn't. I might now. But DisplayPort is actually better than HDMI outside of that. It's just HDMI became the home standard. That's what we're stuck with now. But that's why you'll find on a lot of graphics cards, they just use a single HDMI because people would complain if they didn't have HDMI. But then if you actually read, I'm running DisplayPort on both my monitors now. Sometimes you're just going to have a worse experience if you use HDMI. So anyway, standards are great, but also kind of suck. But yeah, that's kind of the main things that I saw out of NAMM this year. Was Peavey's new mixers that do look promising. Yeah, and they're really touting them for like home recording and small events, which I think is actually good. Recording mixers really, like I'm not a big fan of using a mixer for recording, but they do work well for live streaming, rather than using the physical mixer, or using a physical mixer versus using a digital mixer on your like OBS and stuff. It's just really nice to have knobs and faders that are directly controlling your sound physically. You can just almost always get a better result, but can be, I'm running a little ancient Steinberg CI1. At the shop, I've got a fancier recording interface. This is just one I had handy, and it has served me well. Drivers for it are still working fine, but your mileage may vary. So I think having a mixer for doing live streams can be nice. But then you end up oftentimes seeing, like I've seen a lot of the Roadcaster and stuff like that. They're really good for podcasts and for live streaming and stuff, but are not very good for live use. And live use mixers are not very good for streaming compared to the other side of the spectrum. So looking over these, I think this would work well for doing like podcasting and that type of thing, as well as recording. I'd have to see are these, it should tell me, specs. So we don't have everything yet. The big thing, here's the deciding factor if these are worth getting for recording, is this is touting itself as an 8-channel mixer, which again, you only see 4 mic preamps up top. Well, it doesn't matter because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those count as 8. Stereo channels count as 2 because left and right audio separate. Just how it goes, right? And if you're new to this type of stuff, which some people are, is this an 8-channel recording interface, or is this a 2-channel recording interface that happens to do this digital stuff? That's, to me, what determines if this is actually a well-designed product or not. And they're not saying it anywhere out here on the website. Is there a press release anywhere? Peavey Unity NAMM. It's funny that people are commenting on the color because it does actually stand out. So it's loading slow, but I'm just using a gearnews.com thing on here. Price and availability, not there. Meanwhile, if we're playing, yeah, so it does work for those. Firmware can be updated. Unity mixers, combo, RCA, I/O, USB input. Yeah, even these don't mention what I need to know. So if you're not familiar, oftentimes, like as much as I love, I personally own a Samsung MXP 12. Yeah, this is this one. My small form factor mixer of choice, as it's loading just to make my life miserable, is the Samsung MixPad MXP 12.4FX. Technically has USB. But the thing about... Oh, and it crashes. Okay. And then, is it going to crash my stream too? Probably. Oh, it's still saying good. Alright, well, the Google page will load, but it's having a hard time loading the actual product page. But this guy here, this mixer, this is what I use for small form factor stuff. It does have a separate mix out for like monitoring that can work. Hey, it's me. Look at that. Watch the video. But it doesn't have like individual control on it. So basically my monitor out is the same as whatever's going to my mains, which has its ups and downs. I'd rather have the auxes, and in this size, though, I can understand why they like the step up from it, right? If you get the 14, I tell people all the time now, just step up to the 14. The reason there's an extra row on here, monitor, they should label it aux because then it won't confuse people when they move up to a higher end unit. However, still happy that it's there. And the bigger one has the XLRs. I really should have just spent the extra, like it's an extra $100 or something, I think. I should have 100% gone with the bigger one because it has the two features that kill me every time about my smaller one, because I don't mind it, but the smaller one has TRS outs, which are just an inconvenience, but I can understand because it's a smaller form factor, and then has no individual controls for an aux out for monitoring, and the bigger one has both. So I should have just gone for the bigger one. Lesson learned. Learn from my errors. Anyway, the USB on these, because these both technically have USB, and they went with USB-B. Isn't it great? Oh, no, that's not going to load very well. It's got the USB-B on the back, so no micro USB garbage to deal with, but that is solely for recording, and it is technically a 4-channel interface, because what it does is 2 in, 2 out. So you can bring in USB sound from a computer, and you can send USB sound to your computer in stereo. You can technically record 2 tracks of audio then separately, because you can pan left and right really hard. So say I'm recording mono guitar and mono vocals, and I want to mix it after. I can pan them hard left and hard right, record it into a DAW, and then edit it from there. That's not how you would do it if you're doing this live. You would never do that. But that is what the USB on these does. Is you've got that 2-channel USB interface. It is only essentially what is going to or from your stereo bus. It's not for multi-track recording. That is something I will continue to give Behringer props for on the Flow. Is the Behringer Flow in its price range is actually a well-priced it's just a well-priced little mixer for what it does, but it should have just gone with a barrel jack. Instead, it uses the least reliable form of powering. And yeah, once we know, like, if this Unity 8, if we know that it is multi-track recording, or not, that will determine some stuff. And once we know its price, that will determine some stuff. But I'm happy with what I'm seeing on it. I'm going to watch some videos on it once I'm done here. But speaking of videos, if you head over to my channel, view your channel. Oh, it's got 2 views in 28 minutes. Awesome, guys. Yeah, the my Tractor S3 video has come out. Spoilers. It is a great unit that is limited by some problems. It should be a 10 out of 10 for its price range. I still think it kind of is, but it's, for a mobile DJ, not perfect if you're using anything but Tractor. And Tractor, because as I mentioned earlier, 1, might be going out of business. That's a problem. And 2, doesn't have like real-time stems and a few other things like that. It has some limitations for someone like myself who wants, and I don't even know if it works with like Apple Music and stuff yet, because it's not their target audience. Their target audience isn't mobile DJs in the sense of going to like a wedding. It's DJs who are going to a club setting, or like a rave and that type of thing. And it works really, really, really well for that. But because it is so well optimized for that type of stuff, it works brilliantly as a mixer slash, not mixer, sorry, a controller for DJing weddings. But as soon as you go to use it with other programs, you switch it to MIDI mode, and then the microphone channel and the aux in don't work anymore. Like, that's a big deal. And then for some reason, I can't blame Tractor for it. The DJ Pro stock layout's not the right word. Mapping, not very good. It's almost good, but for effects and things like that, which thankfully I don't use a lot of, not ideal. So I'm going to go in and edit on it and see if I can make it perfect for me. But for you, it could be perfect, especially if you use Tractor. Like if you're more of that clubby kind of guy, man, like the only thing that actually competes with it price wise was for a while for a 4-channel with a proper 4-channel mixer. The Flex 6, but the Flex 6 is missing a bunch of stuff. And I think is discontinued now. Yeah, they've put out the Groove 6, and the Groove 6 is multiple hundreds of dollars more than the S3. Yeah, because here in Canada, the Tractor S3 is $850. So then, actually, the only competition that's in its price range, other than the FLX 6, which is $100 more, is $150 less to get the Newmark NSFX. But that one has its own sets of limitations, but is probably the better for a 4-channel. That'd probably be what I would go with. Yeah. So, anyway, that's today's live stream. We are just shy of 1,000 subscribers, so I'm hoping, because that Tractor S3, there's actually not a lot of videos on it. I'm hoping that gets some attention, and I don't know what it is about DJ controllers, but I actually do get a bit of views on those, because that's 100 views in a week. My stuff does tend to slow burn, and it is often funny because I've got these like 28 minutes ago, 2 views, 108 views, 60 views, 25 views, 51 views, 137 views, and then I'll have stuff that has like 10,000 views. It's a shot in the dark. I am planning on doing some more guitar-based content soon, because those tend to do pretty well, but I've just been DJing a lot for... it makes me more money than being a musician. So I've been doing that a lot more, but I'm going to be doing some... I've got a microphone review on the go. I recorded a review of my new lighting. So that's on the way. I'm going to be messing with my lighting so that this stops. You can see that hefty bit of shadow there. Yeah, what other stuff is on the go? I'm debating doing a video on my experience with B-Topper. They were actually great to deal with, but just like how it kind of all went down, because there was some weird stuff that wasn't, well, kind of their fault, but not really their fault in terms of just what they required for a review that caused me some trouble that you won't see on YouTube, and it's why I'm going to stick to YouTube for product reviews from now on. So I might even do a video just strictly on product review stuff. Still need to do a video on, because I did a live stream on it. Oh, I switched to DaVinci Resolve, so I'm going to do a video on that. Because that's one of the reasons there's a lot more videos out lately. But then I've also, and he'd been meaning to do a video on my new DAW of choice. Because Reaper still is what I'm going to recommend to 9 out of 10 people, but I've actually been very happy with what was Mixcraft. So I may do a whole thing on them in in the near future here. And like I think for some people they're a perfect option. So that's cool. But yeah. So if you made it this far, like and subscribe, guys, because yeah, we're just about at 1,000. If I can get 1,000 subs and get a bit more watch hours, which will come with said subscriptions, I can actually start making money at this. Not a lot, but you know, enough to maybe feel like I'm not just screaming into the void when I complain about Serato in my upcoming. Yeah, so that's something. If you are a software guy, there's 3 videos coming out in the near future. One on why Serato is destroying itself and what they can fix. 2 is going to be on DJ Pro and like the 3 big changes they need to make to rule the industry that for whatever reason they're not doing. And the 3rd big one is going to be on Mixcraft, because I think it is a very underrated DAW. All right, well, I'm also going to test the waters here, because some people may never hear this little rant here, because I'm going to end my stream on OBS and see if YouTube plays out till the end, because YouTube looks to be about my YouTube preview is like a few minutes behind. So I don't know what's about to happen. So some of the stuff might get cut off. I don't know why my YouTube is that far behind. I wonder if the stream crashed at one point and then kind of came back. But we'll find out. So thank you all.